lots of people don't suit lots of businesses and vice versa. The idea that someone is poorly matched for a startup organization is actually a graceful statement. And what I mean by that is, if we agree that startups are typically volatile, uncertain environments, and people have personalities that are high nervous or anxious energy, the reality is that that's just a poor relationship between an organization and an individual. So from a founder's perspective or from a management individual's perspective, the support provided here should really fall into one of two categories. Firstly, you should be fully transparent and honest with them and say, this is unlikely to change in the near future. I would love to support you through this particular stage of the organization, but the reality is that it's probably going to be this way for at least a few more years. If that's not palatable to you, that's okay. But my suggestion to you from a mental health perspective would be that let me and the organization help support you to transition away from this business into another organization. Because otherwise there's going to be a lot of unhappy people for a very long time. The manager is going to be unhappy because they're constantly dealing with the anxiety and concern from an employee who is poorly matched to the business. And for the employee, this is a really unfortunate situation because they're going to feel like they're constantly failing and not doing a good job as a result of all the anxiety and uncertainty that they're experiencing. But it doesn't actually have anything to do with them. It's entirely to do with the fact that startup organizations are volatile, uncertain environments, and some people are more predisposed to anxiety and have less capability to deal with volatility than others. So this isn't a representation that the startup is good, bad, or otherwise. This isn't a representation that the employee is good, bad, or otherwise. It's a representation of the fact that it's a poor match for one another. No different to the fact that people all around the world enter and leave intimate relationships all the time, and that's not because either one of them is necessarily a bad person, although sometimes that happens. In a lot of circumstances, it's just they're a poor match for one another. They want different things from life. They have different values. They have different goals. They want to live in different places. These are very, very normal ideas from an intimate relationship perspective, but for some reason, the general practical idea gets lost when looking from a business and employment perspective, when the reality is that lots of people don't suit lots of businesses and vice versa.